What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Sports Now. Today I want to talk to you about part 2 of wide receiver free agents that are on the move or have re-signed. Again, it's pretty early in the season, but it's stuff that we need to talk about. We need to get out there early so we don't have this unexpected, oh wow, he moved, I didn't know that. What's his fantasy value? So I want to talk about fantasy value a little bit today. If you missed part 1, go check that out. If you want to look at running backs or another position, go check that out as well. It's a small channel still, guys, so I appreciate all the subs, all the comments, everything. I get back to all you guys, but again, I'm a man of content and I like to get right into it and I don't like to waste your time. So let's start looking at part 2 of these names here. Now we're going to start with a re-sign, JuJu SmithSchuster. I think this is a good move for him. I obviously knows the offense. Roethlisberger is coming back. We think, we know, who knows. But I think this is a good move. He obviously got the playbook down, and he had a good year last year. Scored a lot of touchdowns. I think that the yards were pretty low, and the touchdowns were maybe a little high as a whole. But finished 22 as overall, wide receiver, which is solid. I think that people took him a little earlier than that, hoping for more. But as a wide receiver, I feel like he's the kind of guy that could have gone just about anywhere. I think that he's one of these guys that says, hey, give me the money and I'll go play for the worst team and I can do it, I can do it. But he didn't do that, actually. He stuck to home, and I respect that, and I think that he's going to have another good or similar season to what he did, and I think that he could actually even improve. Like I said, the amount of yards that he had, I think, can go up, and I think that touchdown's good too. So I think that this is a good play. There's not too much to it. I think Pittsburgh's going to be a similar squad, and I like what he did here. Next, we're going with T.Y. Hilton, who also re-signed with Indianapolis. It's NCAA time, so I always say, there's that commercial where they say Indianapolis and the Maryland. Yeah, Charles Barkley, great stuff. So Indianapolis is a word that I'm struggling with right now, which is pretty hilarious. But I think that I'm pretty much done with thinking that T.Y. Hilton is going to be elite or is going to even be a wide receiver 2 anymore. I think I'm just done with it because it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. He was a rare receiver that actually played just about every game and wasn't even close to 1,000 yards. And touchdowns weren't high either, and I feel like a lot of people expected his numbers to go off, and Andrew Luck's not there anymore, guys. That elite quarterback just isn't there anymore, and I think that people think that a guy like Rivers could come in and make T.Y. Hilton great, and it's not going to happen. So for me, yeah, I kind of got the neutral line, and I think that it's as good a place as any for him, but fantasy-wise, I don't think that it's going to get really much better than what it already is. And I've been proven wrong many times, but again, it's just what my gut tells me about T.Y. Hilton. Next is Marvin Jones. He's going from my team here from Detroit to Jacksonville. Marvin Jones, for the last 3 years, is probably the most underrated receiver in football. And if you want to see, just look at the stats to my left here. Receptions, the yards. He almost had 1,000 yards last year, 9 touchdowns. Touchdowns are huge, obviously, in fantasy, and he's been scoring a ton of touchdowns. This is Detroit, though, with Stafford and, playing catch-up a lot. So Jacksonville's also going to be playing catch-up a lot, but I don't care how good you think Trevor Lawrence is going to be playing for Jacksonville. It's going to take him time to figure it out, and he is not going to be as good as Matthew Stafford was in his prime. It's not going to happen. Even if Peyton Manning came in as a rookie, he's not going to be as good as Matthew Stafford was in his prime. It's just not going to happen. So Marvin Jones's production has to go down this year. It just has to. Unless Jacksonville gets blown out so badly that they're only throwing the ball, then there's no other direction for Marvin Jones, unfortunately, than to go down. And he finished wide receiver 15 last year. But without Stafford there, I think it could be back into the 30s, back into where he was prior, unfortunately for my guy, that we've been supporting for so long. Next, Nelson Agholor. Us in the community maybe like to pretend that we know everything about everything, but when I was researching Agholor, I was like, do I even include him in the list? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. He had 900 yards and 8 touchdowns last year? I was like, I don't remember that. When did that happen, right? So he's playing for Las Vegas, and apparently that happened, guys. So it's definitely something to keep on your radar, right? And so goes to New England now. I think that is actually not the greatest move because New England has always been the team to spread out the love. You obviously know it for years with the running back situation. Cam Newton is there now again for quarterback. He likes to take a lot of those goal lines, which Agholor probably wouldn't be out on the in the package on the goal line anyway. But Cam Newton, I feel like has lost his edge quite a bit. I really like Cam Newton. I think that he's good for the game. I liked watching him at Auburn. It was a lot of fun watching him. He does the whole Superman thing. He gives the ball to fan. Like, I like that stuff, but he's not as good as he was, and that's all there is to it. And I think that it's going to show for a guy like Agholor, who's just not going to hit this production again. I think he outplayed his production, and I think that going to New England isn't going to help him any. So that's what my gut tells me on him, despite the fact that, like, I'm willing to admit, I don't remember everything. I don't know everything, but that's why we do the research, guys. That's why we exist, is to do the research and to check all this stuff out, right? Next is our boy AJ Green. Oh man, what a career this guy's had. He was a stud, greatest guy out there, a first round pick for so long, and then it was always the, oh well, if he could play 16 games, that the Will Fuller, if he could play 16 games, then we're gonna get 12 touchdowns plus and it's going to be great. And he never did, and he never did, and then he finally played last year. And, I think I put him on here just because of the name recognition. And technically, going from Cincinnati, Bureau, who got hurt, rookie, going from that to Kyler Murray in Arizona should be an improvement. So, is there a way AJ Green could maybe make himself something at 500 yards, a couple touchdowns last year on a Cincinnati team that again was not good? So, in theory, I mean, if he gets to 800 yards and 5 scores, he might be a guy that ends up playing some flex, or he might be a guy who's on the bench or something. So, it's something to keep an eye on, I guess is what I'm getting at. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to be a stud in football. And AJ Green could be the guy who goes right there with him. You never know. So it's something to keep an eye on. Don't bite, I guess I'll say. I'm not biting. Don't bite because it's bitten everybody. So just, yeah, okay, moving on. Next is Curtis Samuel. I want to get all the free agents, guys, or as many as there are as of right now. This is done pre-draft. And I want to get to you as many guys that have moved or re-signed as I possibly can in the quickest amount of time that I can. So Curtis Samuels, he is on the way to Washington from Carolina. Had a pretty good year, actually. He's kind of this kind of dual threat kind of guy. I don't know what his role is exactly going to be in Washington. I don't know if they're going to use him as this kind of running back receiver kind of thing. But we'll have to see. The problem is with Washington is they're kind of jumbled. At quarterback, it's kind of a mystery right now. They're not really sure what they're doing yet, which is similar to Carolina, really. But I don't really see him reproducing the 850 yards. But it's possible. So this is another one of those guys where I'm kind of waiting and seeing what happens with Washington's situation. Just keep in mind that he's moved. He's not with Carolina anymore, and so he's going to be playing for probably a similarly bad team, if not worse. Worse for fantasy. Alex Smith isn't there. Who knows what's going to happen in Washington, right? So it's probably going to be a worse quarterback. It's probably going to be a worse situation. I kind of have it at the neutral line, but it's just because we don't know. We don't know yet. He had a good year last year. Let's see if he can do it again. Anyway, guys, that's it for the wide receivers right now. There's a few more guys out there, and if they sign, I will let you know. But for now, that's all we got. And I think next we'll probably do quarterbacks because we obviously want to know who's been moving quarterback-wise. And if you want to hit me with the sub, and we kept it right under 10 minutes, which is great. That's my goal. And we'll see you guys next time.